The epic downfall of Blockbuster represents one of the most misunderstood corporate collapses in modern business history. While popular mythology reduces it to a cautionary tale about failing to embrace innovation, the true story reveals a complex tragedy of corporate sabotage and short-term thinking triumphing over strategic vision. In early 2000, Netflix co-founders Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph traveled to Dallas with a bold proposition for Blockbuster CEO John Antioco: acquire their struggling DVD by mail startup for $50 million. At the time, Blockbuster was a retail giant with 9,000 global locations and hundreds of millions in revenue from late fees alone. Netflix, meanwhile, was burning through cash with an operationally expensive business model dependent on the Postal Service. Antioco's famous dismissal of the offer, while appearing short-sighted today, was actually grounded in sound business logic. The meeting occurred during the dot-com bubble collapse, when tech companies were imploding daily. Netflix looked like yet another unsustainable internet business. Additionally, DVD players were still expensive luxury items, with the format locked in a war against DivX, a rival technology backed by Circuit City that threatened to make video rental obsolete. Perhaps most importantly, Blockbuster had already placed its digital bet elsewhere, a 20-year partnership with Enron Broadband Services to deliver video on demand through fiber optic networks. Though this deal would soon collapse in Enron's fraud scandal, it represented a seemingly more promising future than mail-order DVDs. The real strategic failure came in the following years as Blockbuster remained paralyzed by the innovator's dilemma. Late fees generated approximately $800 million in annual revenue, nearly pure profit that would vanish under a subscription model. This addiction to late fee revenue prevented Blockbuster from responding as Netflix steadily gained market share. By 2005, Netflix had millions of subscribers and posed an existential threat that could no longer be ignored. This is where the story takes its most dramatic and least known turn. Antioco finally took bold action with two major strategic moves. First, he eliminated the toxic late fees despite the immediate $800 million hit to revenue. Then, in 2006, he launched Blockbuster Total Access, an innovative hybrid service that would prove to be Netflix's kryptonite. Total Access allowed customers to rent DVDs online for home delivery like Netflix, but with a crucial advantage. They could return mailers to any Blockbuster store and immediately pick up new movies at no additional charge. This leveraged Blockbuster's massive retail footprint to offer instant gratification that Netflix couldn't match. The strategy worked brilliantly, with Blockbuster adding more new subscribers than Netflix and forcing Netflix growth to stall. The situation became so dire that Netflix Reed Hastings approached Blockbuster seeking compromise. However, Total Access was expensive to operate. Every free in-store exchange meant forgoing potential rental revenue. While Antioco viewed this as a necessary investment to win the long-term war against Netflix, activist investor Carl Icahn saw it differently. After accumulating a large stake in Blockbuster, Icahn launched a proxy battle focused on maximizing immediate shareholder returns rather than funding the costly digital transition. In 2007, Icahn won control of the board, leading to Antioco's resignation. His replacement, former 7-Eleven CEO Jim Keyes, fundamentally misunderstood the video business. Keyes believed Blockbuster's future lay in retail stores selling snacks and electronics rather than digital distribution. He quickly gutted Total Access, adding fees for in-store exchanges that destroyed its core value proposition. Customers fled back to Netflix in droves. The timing could not have been worse. That same year, Netflix launched its streaming service. With Blockbuster retreating to its brick-and-mortar roots under Keyes, Netflix faced no serious opposition in pioneering the streaming revolution. By 2010, Blockbuster was bankrupt. This corporate tragedy holds deeper lessons about the conflict between long-term strategy and short-term profits. Blockbuster didn't fail because it couldn't innovate. It failed because when it finally did innovate successfully, internal forces driven by quarterly profits undermined the very strategy that was winning the war. The company had built the perfect weapon to defeat Netflix, but ended up turning it on itself. The story also highlights the dangers of oversimplified business narratives. The popular version, where stupid executives miss obvious technological disruption, makes for a satisfying morality tale. But the reality involved rational decisions, competing technologies, and complex corporate governance battles. Blockbuster saw the digital future coming and eventually developed a winning response. Their fatal flaw wasn't blindness to innovation, but rather allowing short-term shareholder interests to sabotage long-term strategic execution. In the end, Blockbuster's collapse stemmed not from a failure to adapt, but from the triumph of quarterly capitalism over sustained innovation. As companies today face similar pressures between immediate returns and future investments, the true story of Blockbuster offers vital lessons about the high cost of prioritizing short-term profits over long-term competitive position. The next time someone recites the simplified version about Blockbuster missing the digital revolution, remind them they actually had the winning strategy. They just chose to abandon it.